The Galactic Council chamber was huge. Tall pillars of shining metal reached up to a glass dome that showed the stars above. 200 alien races sat in curved rows that went up like stairs. They all looked down at one human woman who stood alone in the center. Jai-1 kept her face calm. As Earth's ambassador, she had learned to hide her feelings. The aliens around her had many shapes. Some had scales, some had fur, some had too many eyes, and others had none. But they all seemed to agree on one thing today. Supreme Counselor Daho rose from his seat. His blue skin wrinkled around his 4 eyes as he looked down at Jai-1. "The Council has reviewed the battle reports," Daho said. His voice boomed through the chamber. Once again, human ships stayed at the back. Once again, human soldiers did not join the front attack. Once again, Earth has shown it is afraid. Jai-1 gripped the edge of her podium. She wanted to shout back, but that would not help Earth now. "The Void Swarm takes another star system each month," Daho continued. "They eat worlds and turn them into more of their kind. All races must fight. All except humans, it seems." A low sound of agreement moved through the crowd. "Humans are small. Humans are soft. And now we know humans are cowards," said Daho. "We vote to remove Earth from all battle planning. Humans will serve in support roles only. They will fix ships and grow food, but they will not make war plans." Jai-1 finally spoke. "Earth has sent ships. Earth has sent aid. We have lost people too." "You send the smallest force the treaty allows," said a red-skinned alien with sharp teeth. "Your ships stay far from danger. Your soldiers never leave their safe rooms." "We fight smart," Jai-1 said. "We don't throw lives away." "You don't fight at all," Daho said. "The vote is done. Humans are removed from the War Council." One by one, the aliens stood up. One by one, they left the chamber. Soon, Jai-1 stood alone under the glass dome, looking up at the cold stars. "They don't understand," said a deep voice. Jai-1 turned to see Admiral Han walk in from a side door. Han was tall for a Korean, with gray hair cut short and a face lined from years in space. His uniform showed he was from Earth's Space Force. "No, they don't," Jai-1 said. "They think because we don't rush into battle screaming, we must be afraid." Han nodded. "The Mekteri think courage means attacking head-on. The Volus believe dying in battle is the highest honor. None of them understand human warfare." Jai-1 sighed. "It doesn't matter what they don't understand. The vote is done. Earth has no voice in this war now." "Perhaps," Han said, looking thoughtful, "what we need is not a voice, but an action. One action that no one can ignore." "What kind of action?" Jai-1 asked. "We can't suddenly build a bigger fleet. We can't match the Volus in hand-to-hand combat." "No," Han agreed. "But there is something humans have always been good at. Small teams, impossible missions, one person in the right place at the right time." Jai-1 looked at the Admiral with new interest. "What are you thinking?" "The Void Swarm has a central node on planet KX-419. All Council races have tried to reach it. All have failed because their warriors can't handle the fear the Hive creates in their minds." "And you think humans can?" Jai-1 asked. "I think there's one human who might," Han said. "He's not fearless. No human is, but he keeps going anyway. That's what these aliens don't understand about us." Jai-1 felt a small hope grow inside her. "Who?" "Master Sergeant Kang Do-hyun. SAS. He's done things that sound impossible. And right now, he's the only card we have left to play." Jai-1 looked back at the empty council seats above her. One man against the Void Swarm. "The council will laugh." "Let them laugh," Han said. "Right up until they don't." Do-hyun sat very still in the metal chair. The room was small and had no windows. A single light hung from the ceiling. Across the table, General Sung placed a folder down and opened it. "Do you know why you're here, Master Sergeant?" asked the general. His voice was calm, but his eyes were serious. No, sir, Du Hyun said. He had been called back from leave just 6 hours ago. No explanation. Just an order to report to Earth Command right away. General Sung pushed a screen across the table. It showed a planet that looked sick. Parts of it were gray and dead. Other parts glowed with strange green light. This is KX 419, said Sung. It was a mining world. Now it's a void swarm nest. Their central brain is there, deep underground. Do Hyun nodded. Everyone knew about the void swarm. Alien bugs that ate whole planets. They had been pushing into human space for 3 years now. The Galactic Council has removed Earth from the War Council, Sung continued. They think we are cowards because we don't rush into battle like some other races. With respect, sir, that's stupid, Du Hyun said. We're just not suicidal. General Sung almost smiled. We agree. But words won't change their minds. We need to show them what humans can do. The general tapped the screen. The image changed to show a small device that looked like a metal spider. This is a neural disruptor. It can temporarily shut down the void swarm's hive mind. If placed at the central node on KX 419, it could freeze the entire swarm for up to 2 minutes. Do Hyun looked at the device, then back at the general. And you need someone to plant it. Yes. Why not send a bomb? The node is too deep, shielded by miles of rock and swarm biomass. Only a ground team can reach it. Do Hyun thought for a moment. The council races have tried this. General Sung nodded. 6 attempts. All failed. The swarm creates a field of fear around its central nodes. The aliens can't handle it. They freeze or run away. Now Du Hyun understood why he was here. The SAS trained for the worst conditions, the most hopeless missions, the places no one else would go. You want me to go alone, he said. It wasn't a question. A small team might have a better chance, Sung admitted, but we need this to be clear. One human doing what 200 alien races couldn't do. Do Hyun looked at the screen again. KX 419 was a death trap. The void swarm would be everywhere, and at the center, a fear field so strong it broke alien minds. What are my odds? He asked. Of planting the device, maybe 30%, Sung said. Of getting out alive, less than 5%. Do Hyun nodded slowly. When do I leave? General Sung looked surprised. Don't you need time to think about it? No, sir. I just need to know what equipment I can bring and how I'm getting there. The general pushed another screen across. This one showed a small black ship. The stealth vessel * Silent Thunder * will take you. Captain Yeon-jae is the best pilot we have. You'll have access to all our advanced tech, plus anything you want to bring. Do Hyun stood up. I'll be ready in 6 hours. As he turned to leave, General Sung called after him. Master Sergeant, you understand that this is likely a one-way trip. Do Hyun stopped at the door. Sir, all my missions could be one-way trips. The odds don't matter. The mission does. After Do Hyun left, an aide stepped from the shadows of the room. Is he really our best choice, sir? General Sung closed the folder. He's not fearless. No human is. But he's the best at working through fear. And that's what we need. The council won't believe one man can do this, the aide said. Then they'll have to watch, replied the general, and learn what courage really means. The * Silent Thunder * moved through space like a shadow. Its black hull absorbed light instead of reflecting it. No radar could see it. No heat sensors could find it. It was the perfect ship for a secret mission. Captain Yeon-jae checked her screens again. 3 weeks to KX 419, she said. We're taking the long way to avoid void swarm patrols. Do Hyun nodded. He sat in the co-pilot's seat, studying a tablet with maps of the target planet. For 5 days now, he had been learning everything about the void swarm. How they moved, how they thought, how they fought. You never stop working, do you? Yeon-jae asked. The more I know, the better my chances. Do-hyun replied without looking up. Eun-ji shook her head. Your chances are still bad. No one has ever reached the central node. The fear field breaks everyone. Not everyone, Do-hyun said. Not yet. In the small room behind the cockpit, Do-hyun had set up his gear. His SAS combat suit was laid out on a table. Next to it were his weapons, a light rifle, a pistol, and 3 knives of different sizes. But most important was a box of simple things: wire, tape, small tools, even some mud and plant matter from Earth. Why bring mud? Asked Tam, the ship's engineer, when he saw it. High tech can fail, Do-hyun explained. Sometimes old tricks work best. Mud hides body heat and smell. Every day, Do-hyun trained. He ran in place. He did push-ups and sit-ups. He practiced moving in total silence. And he spent hours in mental training, preparing his mind for the fear field. On the 10th day, alarms went off. Council ship approaching, Eun-ji said, her fingers flying over controls. They shouldn't be able to see us. They can't, Do-hyun said calmly. But they know this is the best route to KX 419. They're patrolling. The view screen showed a large silver ship with the Galactic Council symbol on its side. It was sending out scan beams in all directions. Should we change course? Eun-ji asked. Do-hyun thought for a moment. Then he did something surprising. No. Hail them. What? Eun-ji stared at him. This is a secret mission. Not anymore, Do-hyun said. If we succeed, everyone will know. If we fail, it won't matter. Hail them. Eun-ji pressed the comm button. Council ship, this is Earth Vessel *, Silent Thunder *. Please respond. The screen flickered, and an alien face appeared. It had gray skin and 3 gold eyes arranged in a triangle. Earth Vessel, this is Commander June of the Council Security Force. Your ship is not on our flight plans. State your purpose. We are on a special mission to KX 419, Eun-ji said, following Do-hyun's nod. All 3 of June's eyes widened. KX 419 is under Void Swarm control. No ships are permitted there. Do-hyun leaned forward. Commander June, I am Master Sergeant Kang Do-hyun, Earth Special Air Service. I am going to KX 419 to place a neural disruptor at the swarm's central node. A long silence followed. Then Commander June made a sound like laughter. 1 human. The War Council sent 6 elite teams. None returned. What can 1 human do? I invite you to come aboard and see, Do-hyun said calmly. In fact, I would like you to witness my mission launch. The Council should see what humans can do. June's 3 eyes blinked in different patterns, showing confusion. Then he nodded. I accept. This I must see for myself. After the communication ended, Eun-ji turned to Do-hyun. Are you crazy? Why tell them our plan? Because now they're watching, Do-hyun said. When I succeed, they can't deny it. And if I fail? If you fail, then at least they'll know humans don't fear trying. The drop pod looked like space junk. Its outside was burned and dented on purpose. Inside, Do-hyun checked his gear one last time. The swarm's outer defenses will think it's just debris, Eun-ji explained to Commander June. They watched from the ship's bridge as Do-hyun prepared to leave. Clever, admitted June. His 3 golden eyes blinked in sequence. But once on the ground, he cannot hide from the swarm. They will sense him. That's why I brought this, Do-hyun said, smearing dark mud over his combat suit. The mud had been mixed with chemicals that masked body heat and scent. June made a sound like a snort. Primitive. The swarm has advanced sensors that look for advanced countermeasures, Do-hyun finished. Sometimes the old ways work best because no one expects them anymore. He stepped into the pod. Before the door closed, Eun-ji handed him a small device. This will record everything, she said, so they can see. Do-hyun nodded and attached it to his helmet. The pod doors sealed with a hiss. "Launch in 10 seconds, came Tam's voice over the speaker. The pod shot from the ship like a bullet. It tumbled end over end, looking like just another piece of space trash. Far below, the sick planet KX-419 waited. Half of it was gray and dead. The other half glowed with eerie green light where the swarm had taken over. Do-hyun felt the pod heat up as it entered the atmosphere. He braced himself against the walls as it shook violently. Then came a hard jolt as the pod crashed into the surface. The door blew open. Do-hyun crawled out into a dead world. The sky above was dark with smoke. The ground was gray ash. In the distance, he could see green lights moving. Swarm drones on patrol. They hadn't noticed the pod yet. Do-hyun checked his map. The central node was 15 miles away, deep underground. He began to move, staying low and slow. For 3 hours, he worked his way through the dead zone. Then he reached the border where swarm control began. The ground here was different. It pulsed with life. Strange growths covered everything. The air smelled like rotting meat. A swarm drone flew overhead. It was the size of a car, with many legs and glowing green eyes. Do-hyun froze, pressing himself into the mud beside a dead tree. The drone passed by without seeing him. As he moved deeper into swarm territory, the drones became more common. They flew in patterns, checking everything. Do-hyun had to stop often and hide. Near a destroyed building, he found his path blocked. A new hive cluster had grown since his maps were made. Hundreds of drones moved around it. There was no way past. "Have to go around," he whispered to himself. But going around would add hours to his journey. Hours he didn't have. Do-hyun looked at the old building. It had been a mining facility. That gave him an idea. Moving carefully, he entered the ruined building. Inside, he found what he hoped for. Old mining explosives, still good. He set them up quickly, then moved back to a safe distance. When he pressed the detonator, the explosion was huge. The old building collapsed entirely. Immediately, all the drones flew toward the noise and light. Do-hyun ran the other way, moving fast through the now empty hive area. It was risky, being out in the open, but it worked. By the time the drones realized there was no threat at the explosion, he was far past the hive cluster. 6 hours after landing, Do-hyun reached the entrance to the underground tunnels. Here, the swarm had dug deep into the planet. The walls pulsed with strange light. The floors were soft and wet, like flesh. Do-hyun checked his weapons and took a deep breath. Then he stepped into the tunnel, moving toward the heart of the swarm. Back on the Silent Thunder Commander Jun watched the video feed from Do-hyun's helmet with growing surprise. "He's made it farther than any of our teams," Jun admitted, "but the fear field begins soon. That's where all others failed." EMG smiled slightly. "Then that's where you'll learn about humans." The tunnel went down and down. Do-hyun moved carefully, his light kept low. The walls around him pulsed like they were alive. In many ways they were. The void swarm turned everything it touched into more of itself. After an hour in the tunnels, Do-hyun felt it. A slight push against his mind, like someone trying to open a door. The fear field was starting. "Fear field detected," he whispered for the recording device. "First level is mild, like a bad feeling." He kept moving. The tunnel split into 3 paths. Do-hyun checked his map, then took the middle path. It led down, always down. The feeling in his mind grew stronger. Images began to flash in his thoughts. Dark shapes in the corner of his eyes. The sound of something following him. Classic fear tricks. "Second level of fear field," he reported calmly, creating false images and sounds. Do-hyun reached into a pocket and took out a small pill. It was a mild blocker that SAS used for stress. It wouldn't stop the fear field, but it would help him think clearly despite it. The tunnel opened into a large cave. The floor was covered with a soft, wet material that moved slightly. like breathing. Du Hyun stepped carefully, testing each spot before putting his weight down. In the center of the cave was a dead alien. It wore the armor of the Mekteri, one of the bravest warrior races in the galaxy. Its 4 arms were wrapped around its body, like it was trying to hold itself together. Its face was frozen in a scream. Found a Mekteri warrior, Du Hyun reported. Appears to have died from fear itself. No physical wounds. He moved past the body, following his map toward the central node. 2 more tunnels, 3 more caves. In each one, he found more bodies. Different races. All dead from fear. The pressure in his mind was now a constant pain. The fear field was getting stronger. Images of his worst fears began to play in his mind. Drowning. Being trapped. Everyone he knew dying while he watched helpless. Du Hyun's hands shook. His heart beat too fast. Sweat ran down his face inside his helmet. But he kept moving. 3rd level of fear field, he reported, his voice tight but steady, creating personalized fear scenarios based on my own mind. In the next cave, he found a group of dead council soldiers. They had shot each other. Driven mad by fear, they had turned on their own team. Du Hyun felt the same madness pulling at him. The urge to run, to scream, to do anything to make the fear stop. Instead, he sat down, right there in the tunnel. He placed his weapon beside him and closed his eyes. Implementing SAS Fear Management Protocol, he said for the record. Stage 1. Acknowledge the fear. Du Hyun spoke out loud, naming each fear as it came to him. I am afraid of dying here. I am afraid of failing. I am afraid of the pain. Stage 2. Accept the fear. His breathing slowed. These fears are natural. They are trying to keep me alive. I thank them for their purpose. Stage 3. Act despite the fear. Du Hyun opened his eyes. The fear was still there, heavy in his mind. But now it was just a feeling, not a control. He stood up, picked up his weapon, and continued walking. Back on the asterisk, Silent Thunder asterisk, Commander Jun watched in shock. The fear field readings from Du Hyun's sensors were off the charts, levels that had killed elite alien warriors. How is he still moving? Jun asked. The fear field is at maximum strength. Eunji watched the screen with a small smile. He's not fearless, she explained. No human is. We just learn to work through the fear. But how? Jun's 3 eyes were wide with confusion. We accept it, Eunji said simply. Fear is not our enemy. It's just information, and information can be processed. On the screen, they watched as Du Hyun approached a massive door made of bone and metal. Beyond it lay the central node of the Void Swarm, the heart of the enemy. No alien had ever reached this door, but a human now stood before it. The bone door did not open easily. Du Hyun had to use a small cutting tool from his pack. The door made a wet sound as he cut through it. Finally, he made a hole big enough to step through. On the other side was a large room. The walls glowed with green light. The floor was like wet skin. Strange sounds filled the air, clicks and hums and whispers. But what surprised Du Hyun most was what hung from the ceiling. Large, clear sacks, like bubbles made of thick jelly. Inside each sack was a person. Different aliens from many races. Some moved slightly. They were alive. Found captives, Du Hyun reported. At least 20. In some kind of holding cells. He moved closer to one of the sacks. Inside was a human woman. Her eyes were closed. Tubes ran from her arms and legs into the wall of the sack. Du Hyun took out his cutting tool again. Carefully, he cut open the sack. The thick fluid poured out, and the woman fell forward. Du Hyun caught her before she hit the floor. For a moment, she didn't move. Then her eyes opened. She looked at Du Hyun in shock. "You're human," she said weakly. "Master Sergeant Kang Du Hyun, SAS," he replied. "Can you walk?" The woman nodded slowly. "Dr. Seo Jin, xenobiologist." I was part of a research team. The swarm took us 3 months ago. She looked around. The others, I'll try to free as many as I can, Do-hyun said. He helped her stand. Why are you here? Seo-jin asked. Do-hyun showed her the neural disruptor. I need to plant this at the central node. Seo-jin's eyes widened. The node is through there. She pointed to another door across the room. But it's not what your maps show. The swarm has evolved. The node is now spread out, not in one spot. This was bad news. Do-hyun had planned to plant the device in one central location. If the node was spread out, the disruptor might not affect all of it. How spread out? He asked. 3 chambers, Seo-jin said. They're connected, but you'd need to hit all 3 to shut down the swarm. Do-hyun thought quickly. Can you help me free the others? I need a diversion. Together, they cut open more sacks. 5 aliens were still alive. One was a tall Volus warrior with red skin. Another was a Mekhtari engineer with 4 arms. The others were from races Do-hyun didn't know. The fear field doesn't reach this room, Seo-jin explained as they worked. They keep us alive to study our minds. Once all the survivors were free, Do-hyun explained his plan. I need to hit 3 targets now, not 1. I can't do it alone before the swarm stops me. We'll help, said the Volus warrior. You saved us. We fight with you now. The Mekhtari nodded its large head. The swarm took my team. I will help you end it. Do-hyun split the neural disruptor into 3 parts, 1 for himself, 1 for Seo-jin and the Volus, and 1 for the Mekhtari and the others. We hit all 3 chambers at once, he said. Plant the devices and activate them on my signal. The swarm will kill us, said one of the smaller aliens, fear in its voice. Maybe, Do-hyun admitted. But if we succeed, the swarm freezes. The council fleet can destroy it while it's weak. Billions of lives saved. Seo-jin looked at Do-hyun with new respect. The council said humans were cowards. We're not cowards, Do-hyun said. We just don't waste lives when there's a better way. Today, there is no better way. The Volus warrior made a sound like a laugh. I thought humans feared death. We do, Do-hyun said. More than most races. But fear isn't what matters. What you do despite the fear, that's what counts. The aliens looked at each other. Then, one by one, they nodded. For my fallen team, said the Mekhtari. For my world, said the Volus. Seo-jin checked her part of the disruptor. For Earth. Do-hyun led them to the door that would take them deeper into the hive. Beyond it lay the 3 chambers and the heart of the swarm. He knew most of them would not return. But if they succeeded, the swarm would be stopped. On my mark, he said. 3, 2, 1. The 3 teams moved through different tunnels. Each tunnel led to one of the 3 chambers where the swarm's mind lived. Do-hyun took the center path, the most dangerous one. Seo-jin and the Volus warrior went left. The Mekhtari and the others went right. Do-hyun's tunnel was hot and wet. The walls pulsed faster here, like a racing heart. The fear field was strongest in the central path. It pushed hard against his mind, showing him images of everyone he cared about dying. He kept walking anyway. Almost at the central chamber, he reported for the recording. Fear field at maximum strength. In his ear, he could hear the other teams giving their reports. Left team in position, came Seo-jin's voice, shaking but determined. Right team ready, said the Mekhtari. Its voice sounded strained. The fear was affecting them all. Do-hyun reached a large round door. It was made of metal mixed with bone and skin. He cut through it slowly. On the other side was the largest room he had seen yet. In the center stood a massive column of pulsing green light. It went from floor to ceiling. Inside the light, shapes moved and twisted. This was the main brain of the Void Swarm, the thing that controlled billions of drones across the galaxy. Central chamber reached, Do-hyun whispered. I see the primary node. He moved closer to the column. The fear in his mind was so strong now that his vision blurred. His legs shook with each step, but he kept going. When he was 10 feet from the column, something changed. The fear pulled back suddenly. In its place came a different feeling, a voice in his mind. Asterisk human. Stop asterisk. Do Hyun froze. The swarm was talking to him. In his mind. Asterisk, why do you fight us? We offer perfection. No fear. No death. Join us asterisk. Images flowed into Do Hyun's mind. Beautiful images. Himself, living forever as part of the swarm. All his fears gone. All pain gone. Perfect peace. It's trying to talk to me, he reported, his voice trained. Offering things. Asterisk, you fear death. Human. We can save you from death. Save all humans. Make you perfect asterisk. Do Hyun felt his hand lower. The neural disruptor almost slipped from his fingers. The offer was so tempting. No more fear. No more pain. No more death. For a moment, he stood still, caught between desire and duty. Then, over his radio, he heard the Mekhtari scream. Then silence. The right team was gone. Right team lost, Seo Jin reported, her voice tight with fear. Swarm drones found them. The beautiful images in Do Hyun's mind vanished. The swarm had killed the Mekhtari and the others. It would kill them all. Asterisk, they attacked us. You attack us. We defend. Join us instead asterisk. No, Do Hyun said firmly. He lifted the neural disruptor again and moved toward the column. Asterisk, we will give you wealth. Power. Anything you want asterisk. What I want, Do Hyun said as he reached the base of the column, is for you to stop killing people. He placed the neural disruptor against the column. When he checked the device, he found something he hadn't expected. The trigger mechanism was damaged. It would have to be activated manually. No timer, no remote detonation. That meant whoever activated it would be at the center of the effect. They would die when the Council fleet attacked. Left team, status. Do Hyun asked. In position. Seo Jin replied. But we're surrounded. Can't hold long. Do Hyun made his decision. On my mark. Activate your device. Then run if you can. What about you? Seo Jin asked. Do Hyun looked at the manual trigger on his device. I'll be right behind you. It was a lie, but a necessary one. He needed her to activate her device, to give the plan its best chance. 3, 2, 1, mark. Do Hyun pressed the trigger on his device. Green light flashed through the column. The voice in his mind screamed in pain and rage. The swarm had realized what was happening. Asterisk, you will die with US asterisk. Maybe, Do Hyun said calmly. But I'm not the one who's afraid now, am I? On the bridge of the asterisk, Silent Thunder asterisk, Captain Yeonji and Commander Jun watched the screen's intense silence. 3 small dots showed the positions of the teams. The right team's dot had gone dark. The left team's dot was blinking, meaning they were in trouble. The center dot, Do Hyun's position, still showed strong. He's reached the central chamber, Yeonji said, her voice tight. He's placing the disruptor now. Commander Jun's 3 golden eyes didn't blink. He had not moved or spoken for many minutes. The alien was seeing something no council member had seen before, a human pushing through the strongest fear field ever recorded. Suddenly, all 3 screens flashed with warnings. Energy spike. Yeonji shouted. The disruptors are activating. All 3. Jun asked in surprise. How? Before Yeonji could answer, every alarm on the ship began to sound. The main screen showed something amazing. Across the entire planet, the green lights of the void swarm were freezing in place. Drones stopped mid-flight. Ground units stood still like statues. It worked, Yeonji whispered. The neural disruptors worked. She hit the communication button. Do Hyun, report. There was no answer from the center dot, but the left dot was moving. "This is Co Jin," came a weak voice. "The Volus didn't make it. I'm trying to get out." "And Master Sergeant Do Hyun?" Jun asked. A long silence. Then, "He stayed behind. The central disruptor needed manual activation. He knew he wouldn't get out." Eunji's hands gripped the edge of her control panel. Her knuckles turned white. "Vital signs?" she asked the ship's computer. "No vital signs detected from central chamber," the computer replied in its flat voice. Commander Jun stood suddenly. "The swarm is frozen. For how long?" Eunji checked her readings. The disruptors were designed for 30 seconds. But these readings show 90 seconds. They're more effective than we thought. Jun moved quickly to the communication station. He entered a series of codes. "Council Fleet, this is Commander Jun. Authorization code Theta 96. The swarm is neutralized. You have a 90-second attack window. Fire everything now." From orbit above KX 419, 50 Council warships that had been waiting just out of range suddenly moved forward. They had been positioned secretly by Admiral Han, ready for this moment. The ships fired all their weapons at once. Massive energy beams struck the planet's surface. Missiles hit the major swarm hive clusters. The frozen swarm could not defend itself. On the asterisk, Silent Thunder asterisk, they watched as the attack unfolded. The 90 seconds seemed to last forever. "Will it be enough?" Jun asked. "It has to be," Eunji replied. As the attack continued, a weak signal came through the communication system. It was barely audible. "Not cowards," said a faint voice. "Tell them we're not cowards. We just choose our battles." Eunji jumped to the controls. Do Hyun, is that you?" But there was no more. The signal ended. On the screen showing his vital signs, there was a final spike. Then nothing. Commander Jun looked at the flat line on the screen. Then at the planet below, where the Council fleet was destroying the helpless swarm. Then at Eunji, who stood tall despite the tears in her eyes. "I was wrong," the alien said quietly. "We were all wrong." "About what?" Eunji asked. "About humans. You are not cowards." Jun's 3 eyes blinked in sequence. "You feel fear more deeply than any race I have encountered. Yet you push through it. This is not the absence of fear. This is true courage." The attack ended as the 90 seconds passed. But it had been enough. The void swarm on KX 419 was destroyed. Its central node was gone. For the first time in years, the Council had won a major victory against the swarm. When Co Jin finally reached the surface and was rescued, she carried with her the full recording from Do Hyun's helmet. Every moment, every word, every beat of his heart as he faced the greatest fear and won. He knew he wouldn't survive. She told them on the ship. He knew before he ever left Earth. But he went anyway. "Yes," Jun said. "That is what I will tell the Council. That is what they need to understand about humans."